For January the 1st, 2016, we talk about XCOM, The Long War, Life is Strange, and we reveal the title of the year for 2015. Welcome to Level 132. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. David was not able to join us tonight. We thought he was originally going to be able to, but I went long on recording this week's Watch Out for Fireballs. So that is my dick move, and I'm sorry, everybody. Please.
So go listen to that, because it's better.
Stop giving me shit. Just give me a fucking break.
Happy holidays.
Experienced it and out of time. It's because while you're listening to this at a normal time, we are recording it at a bit of an odd time.
We're recording this 45 minutes later than we usually record.
Up is down, down is up. What do I do?
Well, we're recording this a half hour later or 15 minutes later than we record because usually, this is a bit of a peek behind the curtain for everybody, but when we talk to each other every week, we do a half an hour to 15 minutes of just talking and seeing how we're all doing.
It's like we're friends.
I know, right? It's like our relationship extends beyond just the confines of this podcast. It's like there's stuff that we don't want to share with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's definitely stuff that we don't want to share with you because we'd get arrested and probably be heard from again.
Yeah, we like to keep something for ourselves.
I'm going to save some for the memoirs.
Yeah, if we gave everything away, it just wouldn't be that great. So
we are going to give all the Toady secrets away today, though. I'm really excited.
We are, yeah. The title of the year. Holy shit! We have upped our title game so much. Like every year over year, looking at the list, like oh man, just the idea that extemporaneously over the course of all of these conversations, we come up with so many phraselets. It's so good. But I'm sorry that David can't be here, but we are here and we're going to do this thing.
We're kind of like a mint with the amount of phrases that we coined.
Yes, we are. Oh man. So does anybody have any cool, like a holiday kind of anecdotes over the past 2 weeks? Because we were not here over Christmas week.
What interesting happened over the holidays?
We got to hang out.
We did.
That's true,
did.
Yeah.
In person.
I was late to that. Like I was a real Johnny come lately.
That was fun.
So there, you guys played some XCOM, right?
The board game.
Yeah. Played a little bit of that.
Yeah.
We played a little bit of Mario Bros, which I'm going to hold on to as my thing that I've been playing.
Me too. Yeah, this is probably going to be a real short episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we mostly sat around and BS'd about the new Star Wars movie, which if you haven't seen it yet, go see it.
We did. Yeah, no, that was fun. It is very good. Very good fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was me accidentally ringing the bell.
How dare you?
You just got too excited about Star Wars.
I know, right?
It's a bell that you ring to keep your emotions in check. Do you guys have the link to the final results sheet for Toady?
No, I do not. But go ahead and put that into the Slack here as I talk about more things. Yeah, no, I got a new wallet. I got a new, if you listen to Abject Suffering, I've been talking about my bird feeders. I got a crazy aluminum mechanical arm that is meant to thwart the squirrels, and we'll see if that will happen.
Really?
I live on the second floor apartment, and God, I love my deck. I love, sitting out there and reading, but you know what? I love birds and I love plants, and the squirrels have thwarted both. And so one of my gifts involves some kind of crazy rictus, some kind of weird little stand that I can put up and hang all of my interesting things from that will thwart the squirrels, and we will see if that actually accomplishes its goal. If I'm not lying, if I'm being truthful here, I like seeing the squirrels getting where they ought not be, because you know what? Warfare is more fun than peace.
Whoa.
Oh,
That's a bold claim.
I know, right? But yeah. Yeah, no.
Perhaps when there's no collateral damage, then yes.
I suppose, yeah. Like when the collateral damage is me just sweeping squirrel turds off of my my railing on my deck.
When the stakes are low.
Yeah, when the stakes are low, when it's man v squirrel, then we're all fine. But
yeah,
squirrel.
Yeah. But Dennis has shared the title of the year, and that's going to be the stand-in for the multiplayer this week because, as I've mentioned, I've been recording for a very long time. But yeah, that's we're going to get there. In the meantime, well, let's talk about some brief, and then after the toady, we're going to have some grind. But first off, we have the brief, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games around us. Does anybody have a story they want to talk about?
I thought I posted mine to our Slack feed. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Let me take a look here.
Because it's showing up on my app. This is weird behind the scenes talk. It's showing up on my app, on my phone, but not on my computer.
Is this about an XCOM thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Go ahead. Go.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you guys can see it, even though I, for some reason, can't see the thing that I posted. That's all right. I've got the link to the actual article up on my computer. So yeah, XCOM The Long War, which is, I believe, a fan-created mod to the popular XCOM series that's near and dear to so many of our hearts. You heard that we were playing the board game earlier. Yep. Is finally finished, which is amazing. So it has gone from like open beta version 3.x 300 whatever to version 1.0.
So the game is finished, but you will never be able to finish the game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this has to be sentimental because they've been working on it since even before Enemy Within was released, which is the official expansion. And it's just such an amazing passion project. The people who did it are actually going on to found their own studios, which I think is just called Long War Studio. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Long War Studios. So it'll be cool that they're going on to make games. Specifically, the first one that they're working on is about alien invasions. So that'll be right in their wheelhouse. But I thought it was interesting. Like I looked up the post and read what was the final update needed to get this thing over the hill from beta, third open beta or whatever, to final version. And it was minor localization fixes for Spanish and Polish.
Okay.
That's right, Poland. You are officially at the bottom of the priority chart.
I don't know, man. Like that's pretty major. Like Eastern Europe is huge, and like the crazy rigorous computer strategy game kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that from that angle. Sure, yeah. So they got all that finished. That was the final task on the to-do list, and they fired it out into the real world.
So is this a new campaign? Is this a new set of rules? Can you explain kind of what the Long War is?
Yeah, gosh, I probably will not do it anywhere near justice. I know of it. I have not played it, so I'll put that disclaimer on it. Ben, have you done anything with the Long War?
I had a friend who played it and described it to me, and basically it makes everything harder, like as if it was not hard enough.
Yeah. With all of the modes to make things harder, the Iron Man and the Classic and whatnot.
Yeah. So especially, I think what it does is give you a lot more ability to micromanage. Okay. So instead of having whatever it is, kind of broad territories like Africa as a territory or Asia as a territory, you can micromanage with countries within the territory, or soldiers, instead of having upgrade paths that involve a choice between two options every level. Have upgrade paths with choices between three options every level, or you have to build Sky Rangers to transport your troops instead of just having one that you can fly around. So it's just everything has gotten more difficult, and there are more options to micromanage. And then finally, Long War, the kind of time scale that this happens over is greatly extended, which kind of allows for that greater depth to really breathe.
So would you say that this is the hardcore PC version of XCOM that, excludes the casuals that everybody's been waiting for?
Yeah, I think if you're watching someone streaming XCOM on Twitch, they're probably doing Iron Man Long War, with all the difficulty options turned up.
Okay.
So this is like the once you've solved XCOM, this is where you turn to like.
Yeah, this is what you turn to when you just want to feel again. God damn it! Like I just want to feel anything.
Once the sight of a sectopod no longer puts fear into your heart.
Oh, chrysalids, they're way back there in the mist. God damn it! No, nothing but calluses. I'm more exoskeleton than man.
I was sending my favorite soldiers to die just to feel.
Yep. I named them just so I could shed one more tear.
Yeah, it's really interesting just the legacy that this has left, because if you look at so many of the things in XCOM 2 that they revealed so far about personalization and customization, it really takes a page out of Long War's book. Just that Firaxis team said, oh, this is what people are willing to do. We will make that available for you. So now everything about down to the individual weapons that the soldiers are wielding is customizable in XCOM 2, and I fully credit the Long War team for kind of influencing them in that direction.
Is it the Long War team, or is it just kind of the collective will of people who wanted this to be more hardcore?
Yeah, I guess you can't credit the Long War team unless there were a bunch of people who were excited to play Long War as well. So
yeah. I mean, just they're fulfilling a demand. Like, what is it like? XCOM 2. I have not been following this, but that's like PC only, right?
PC only so far. They haven't even announced a Mac version, I believe, at the time.
Yeah. So they are making a political statement with who they are allowing to play this game.
Yeah, basically. I'm sure it will come out because XCOM came out on frickin' everything. Like it came out on your Apple Watch, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll
download that right now. That seems like something that'd be fun to play. Huh, okay.
But I think it will eventually get to all systems, but they certainly know who the majority of their core audience is, and they're playing to it.
They know which side the bread is buttered on.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So congratulations to the Long War team. I have not checked it out, and I might check it out as a stopgap between XCOM 2 being released and being available on a platform that I own.
Yeah, well that's it's coming out on what, PC in February?
Yeah, it's on my birthday, I think, February 5th. So.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh, way to drop some hints there.
If I could play it.
I know, right?
Damn it. So, oh well.
Yeah. Ben, how about you?
Okay, so I'm gonna change it up. I guess I have two stories, so maybe I'll just say both of them. Okay. The first one is that Arkham Knight, the final DLC, came out while we were gone on December 22nd, and so this kind of features kind of one last go of it. There's like 4 different enemies that you fight against, and it's kind of new features to the map of Arkham City.
Okay.
So I think they've covered, or they've announced like who the bad guys are, so I guess it's not spoiling anything, but it's like it features Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, and one other that I can't remember off the top of my head.
People who were not featured in the main Arkham City side of things. So Arkham Knight side of things.
If they bring back Mr. Freeze after Arkham City, can it be anything but a disappointment?
I don't know. Like that seems to be the high point of the series. Ben, what do you think?
It was definitely a solid boss fight, and definitely probably one of the best parts of that game.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't top that, right? Like, why he went out on top, or Batman took him out on top, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. They might do better, but probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had reasons for their choice, but I mean, I might actually pick this one up actually, because it's been a while since I played Arkham Knight, and I don't know. I really do like the series. So
what is the next Batman related thing in the hopper after this?
They haven't said officially, but I mean, they kind of are indicating. A lot of people think that this is their last game, so a lot of people think that this will be the end. But
for Rocksteady.
Yeah, okay. With Rockstar City Batman. But people thought that with Arkham City as well, the second one.
Yeah, so. A little bit. And that was like Mark Hamill's announcements around that were kind of corroborating evidence, but that proved not to be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, whatever. If they make more, I'll play more. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll definitely check it out. Although, yeah. No, so I have hope. like if they design the Mr. Freeze sections of this with the ethic that they approached the city Mr. Freeze sections with, then I will be happy to see this. Although I have to get my copy back from Gary, so I have to send him money to ship it back. Wait a minute, name dropper. It's my I shipped Gary my copy so he could play it. Yeah. No, he just gotta send it back to me.
And okay, so are there any questions about that, or?
No, I just like Mad Hatter. It felt like he was a little bit more underused.
Sure, but another awesome part of another Batman game that I won't spoil.
No spoilers. You've got like a 50% chance, or 1 in 3 chance of figuring out which game that spoils.
Yep. But
what's your other story?
NES game?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's Sunsoft. Yeah. What's your other story, Ben?
The other story is that Uncharted 4 got delayed a month to April. It was initially going to be released in March, and they released a statement about it. I mean, it basically says what you would expect to say is, like, we're almost finished with the game. A couple of the parts need more TLC, so we're going to take some extra time to finish it.
Yeah.
So not anything too surprising, I guess, but I don't know.
That was one of the commercials that I wept at while waiting for Star Wars to start.
Oh, wow.
Did I tell you guys about my experience in the theater?
No, you didn't.
We'll let Star Wars chat bleed over into
no, go for it, man.
It just going into that movie, I'd managed to like not think about it that much and not hype myself up that much for it until I actually went. And then just sitting there and watching previews and trailers and video game commercials, knowing I was about to see Star Wars, I was just like overwhelmed and was like just weeping openly at everything. Like everything made me cry.
Well, it's like watching a movie on an airplane. Like you're more likely to like cry at a movie while you're on an airplane. Really? That's the thing, because it's a heightened experience.
Yeah,
but no, I like that. That was not intentional on my part. Like it is literally
in you at this point.
No, it's just in me. It's a part of me. No, like both literally and figuratively, it is a heightened experience.
Huh. Okay.
You are more likely to cry at a movie that you otherwise wouldn't cry at.
Interesting. Interesting. The looming fear of death, knowing that you're, hurtling through the sky in a metal tube.
Yeah, man. Like Grown Ups 2, it might be your last,
But no, like literally, it was the Nathan Drake trailer and Kung Fu Panda 2. I cried at. It was everything. Batman versus Superman, cried at, and it was basically weeping openly throughout the movie. It was, but it was fantastic.
So you were weeping at the content of the trailer, not the fact that they delayed it by a month.
I think I was just happy.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at myself because, in my dotage, I will cry because I'm just happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was. But they put out the new trailer for the Uncharted 4, which even outside of my emotional state, I thought was good. Just kind of your standard Nathan Drake diving after a coin as the earth collapses around him, and like everyone's firing at him. He's going through the bullets, and he's talking about how everyone's going to remember him as a two-bit thief, but that's not who he really is. And then it zooms out, and you can see he's not diving for the coin; he's diving to save his brother.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. It was well done.
Yeah. So this was pushed back. A 1 month delay might not seem significant, except for the fact that it went from March to April. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that takes them from Q1, and that is the time when most companies will report their fiscal year, to fiscal year 2016. So this must have been something huge. There had to have been a good reason for Naughty Dog and Sony to have said, like, you know what, it is probably worthwhile for us not to claim the revenue from
when did The Last of Us remaster come out? Was that this year or this fiscal year?
No, that was that came out. I bought my PlayStation 4 in 2014. it was relatively long before that. Like that might have been either the very end of the previous fiscal year or the very beginning of fiscal year 2014.
So they haven't had jack shit out. They don't really. This was going to be their thing.
Like SCEA?
No, that just like in terms of this fiscal year, Uncharted 4 was going to be their thing.
Like Naughty Dog, maybe.
Yeah, weird. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's weird. Like anything that happens, like watch for anything that comes out like on the Ides of March or right before April, because that is usually meant to design specifically to get something in right before they have to report their revenue to their investors. Yeah. Huh. I don't know. Like obviously, a better game is going to be better for them in the long run because. What is it Miyamoto said? Like, 1 month is 1 month, but a bad game is forever.
Yeah.
I think it's really curious that they're titling the third game in the series Uncharted 4.
Are you saying that because you don't acknowledge Uncharted 3 or?
I've never heard of that. Yeah, no.
That's weird, right?
I'm happy they're making a third game.
No, it's like it's like skipping from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 2. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No,
I'm happy they're making a second game.
Yeah, wait, you didn't like Among Thieves or no?
No, Among Thieves was great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like Windows. Every other game is really good.
It's like Windows, Star Trek movies, and Uncharted.
Which one are you not acknowledging? The first one or the second one?
The first one and the third one.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. So
I personally,
yes.
I only like the second one.
There are good set pieces in the third one, but there's a lot of filler before you get there. I think.
Oh, the third one has a lot of very interesting water and sand.
Even then, I love the first. It will always have a special place in my heart because it was legitimately good for its time and what it did. And the second came out and did everything better, but that doesn't make the first game bad.
Oh no! Like I played a little bit of the first one after I played the second one and recognized it as one of the best like cinematic action games. But the first, oh boy, it's just a bunch of shooting dudes.
Playing the first one after playing the second one, it feels like this is a really good tech demo, which led them to the second game, which was amazing.
Oh, did you both play them in reverse order?
Yeah.
That's where you done bad. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
I can understand that.
Yeah, no, like I got the second one like as a 1999 like, oh, here is you're buying a PlayStation 2 in 2010 or PlayStation 3 in 2010. Yeah. Oh well.
Uncharted, so they can take all the time they want, as long as it's good when it gets.
Oh, true. Yeah. Like, I'd rather them take the time. Oh, dear God. That is, like, business reasons are the dumbest reason in the entire world to release a bad product.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and say this about my story. Breath of Fire 6 is going to be coming out for both the PC and iOS in March in Japan. Now, Breath of Fire is a series that I really like, by which a series that I really like. Is it weird to say the third entry in a series is a reason to like a series?
Yeah, I've heard you talk about 3. I don't think I've ever heard you mention any of the other games.
No, I like 3. 3's really good. Mostly its soundtrack. I've got 4. 4 is out on PSN, and that's readily available, but it's not one that I've played. So 6 is a game that is supposed to be like free to play RPG kind of thing. Yeah, this is mostly me grasping at straws because nothing happens in the week between Christmas and New Year's.
X is a thing. Good story.
X is thing. We've done this a little bit before, but yeah, it's super weird. Like, so this is Capcom's big JRPG series, or at least it was in the late 90s. And here in 2016, it's hard not to ascribe to the how the mighty have fallen narrative.
Yeah
it's a little disappointing.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's got an interesting style. Is this very much in the style of the previous games, or is the kind of is chibi the right word to describe it as? Style new to the series.
Oh yeah, both 3 and 4 kind of have this very pleasant green and yellow anime style to them.
Okay.
This kind of isometric style. 1 and 2 are both, middle, well, let's say middling SNES JRPGs.
Okay.
But yeah, 3 and 4, at least what I played of them, are pretty good. But yeah, this appears to be in style for them at the very least.
Nice. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, definitely. But man, oh man, like to take this kind of C tier, relatively beloved but mostly forgotten kind of series and use it as the leading edge in a different business model, that seems I don't know, it seems like a great way to piss off your most loyal fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you describe it that way, it feels like, okay, what can we afford to just destroy hopelessly forever?
Oh yes, what can we dash against the rocks?
Dash against the free-to-play rocks.
Oh man, so I don't know. Like, I'll check it out if it's localized, but I don't even know it's going to be localized. But like,
will it have the same composer?
I don't know. Hopefully, probably not. Most likely not.
Aww.
Yeah. Womp womp. But yeah, like 4, I haven't played. 5, the Dragon Quarter, the kind of roguelike one, I really enjoy.
Okay.
But 6. It's just weird when you put a big number like that at the end of a non-standard entry in the series.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that it's going to be free to play, are you going to be playing or at least trying this no matter what?
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. Like, probably, by which I mean if it's brought here in my language.
That's true.
Yeah.
Brought here in my language in my lifetime, I will try it.
Yes.
What if it was only subtitled? Would you still play it?
I mean, like, subtitled, yeah, that's in my language because they turned it from Japanese into English.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, subtitled in Japanese.
Oh, well, probably not. I don't know.
What about Esperanto?
Maybe. No, I don't know that language, Ben.
All right.
Sorry, I really don't know what that means.
All right, what if they sent someone to kind of like stand over your shoulder and read it for you while you played it?
Like I don't feel like having people in my house, Dennis.
It'd be very non-judgmental though. Like,
what if he stood outside your window?
I'm like on the second floor, and I feel bad about him being on a ladder.
What if it was like a hotline kind of thing where you it just automatically called someone when you booted the game up?
But like I'm like paying for the minutes.
No, this is creating jobs. This is part of the model.
Well, I suppose. Okay, yeah. No, if I'm uplifting people,
but it's not very like they're kind of like translator in training though. This is how people work their way up to be full-fledged translator. So
okay, yeah. No, that's good. Well, I mean, even still, like if I'm giving them practice, like I'm all about giving people a leg up.
Okay, I'll put you down as committed to having a translator in training read Fire 6 for you.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer section, which is non-standard to say the least. Now, every year, towards the end of the year, and this is as end of the year as we can be, since this is coming out on New Year's Day.
Good timing.
Yeah,
New Year's Eve
right?
for the Patreon backers, right?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're getting the early scoop. We like to talk about which of the previous year's titles kind of top the list. We like to get a little bit introspective. Some would say self-involved, but we like to put it to a vote and say which of the episode titles kind of resonated most with our audience. Let's categorize it that way so as to appear charitable to ourselves. Yeah, so we put it out there, and by we I mean Dennis. You put it out there in a poll, and talk about the way you structured this, Dennis.
Yeah, so basically, it's you get to choose your top 5, and out of I think we had 43 total titles in the previous year, and so you can forced rank 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then. The way we ranked the titles once all the votes were in was, someone ranking it as number 1 on their list gave it 5 points, 2 is 4 points, and so on down.
Yeah.
To get you a weighted total. for the episodes as a whole, and that's the way these are ranked. We also have total votes, which does return a slightly different order, which is interesting. So just if you take the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 out of it, it gives you a slightly different answer. But we can dig into that.
Yes, we can. So people should know, as they're listening to this, the way that we choose the titles. This has kind of been different over the past 2/3 years that we have been doing the show, insofar as we all keep track of the coolest little phrases we say.
Cool, really? I think that's kind of generous.
Or weird.
Yeah,
Weird
like weird, like the most. That is a title.
Yeah.
If we say something and we think that is a title, then we keep track of it, and then
you can't describe it, but you know it when you hear it.
Exactly right. I wrote a backer blog about this on the Patreon, just like what makes a good title, right? And sometimes it's what describes the content of an episode, and sometimes it's I don't know, like. What's funniest, and so we kind of put forward a vote. There are, for any given title that is chosen, there are 5 or so titles that are thrown by the wayside, but that is what is put forward. The survivors here are what we're choosing from.
Creme de la creme, if you will.
Yeah. So can you guys give me a little bit of a criteria for what makes a good title?
I think that,
according to our opinion or according to the listener's opinion?
Either.
Koyana Stotzi references are good titles for me.
No, for sure. I was kind of disappointed that those did not rise to the top.
It made number 8. That's not bad.
Yeah. 8 is not the top, Ben.
That's true. Well, it depends what your threshold is.
It is upper quartile?
Top 5th.
Yeah, upper quintile?
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, we had 43. And boy, number 43 was a hard 43. Yeah. Dennis, how about you? Like, what makes a good title in your mind?
I think just the out of contextness of it, if that makes any sense. It lends a lot to it. So, it's nice if it can be a joke or a reference to a joke that we did in the episode. In context, it makes sense. But I think the ones I enjoy the most are funny in and of themselves, completely out of context, so that you can, having known or heard nothing from the episode. It still is just a little bit of joy, self-contained.
Right.
The memeability, perhaps.
Sure. It's just like what feels like the level. For me, is the big thing. Like, what feels like our sense of humor collectively, and we're 5 different people, right?
All right.
What?
Nothing. I had to count on my fingers the number of hosts on the show.
Yeah. No,
aren't you supposed to be good at math?
No. I included Jala, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because she's really stepped up over the past year or so, which is
MVP award for sure.
Oh, for sure. No, like she's made it so we have more episodes this year than I think any other year. yeah, but no, let's kind of go into the results here, because as expected, the result that has both the most number 1 and both the most total votes is one that's pretty recent, and that happened last year too.
Mm-hmm. Although last year was the most recent that won.
Yeah, that was strange. Also, last year was was the first time we did toadies, though.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know if we had acclimatized people to thinking about the titles year round.
Plus, I mean, toady season, we always wait the titles, and we save the good ones for the end.
No, like we only really start trying in late October, Yeah.
No, but so for the top one though, I was happy because this is legitimately sorry, Sugarbone, but this is the one I would have chosen for myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So number 1 this year was In Space No One Can Hear You Jam, referring to a mid-November episode of the show, which is pretty good because it was neither an Alien nor a Space Jam reference, but it was
Spaceballs.
Yes, we were both referring to music and 2 preserves. So it was a pretty good. I was happy that it sounds like the easiest possible thing, but we arrived at it at the most difficult possible way.
Yeah. I think Ben was the one who said it too.
I forget. I don't know.
I'm almost certain it was a Ben special.
Yeah, but
which is sad because Summer of Ben, which I thought was going to do so well,
I know, right?
It's just got a ring to it. Was relatively far down the list.
Yeah, I really like Ben-centered episode titles.
Yes.
I'm feeling flustered.
Yeah, that came in at number 29, so a little
Never
bit below.
mind. No longer feeling flustered.
No, I you know what? In Slack, I've heard people say I love the Ben titles, so you should not feel bad. Honestly. And what is it? Sugarbone and Old Canary Kole. Both of those came in above the fold, but those were more related to what do you refer to them as, like original characters? Those were that was fiction that we came up with as we go.
Technically, I guess Old Man Orgasms, depending on how you read it, is another character.
It is, yeah. No, that was the thing. Sugarbone was also the most controversial episode of the show because I was really drunk and I talked about how much I hated geek T-shirts. And boy, people call that was that was a big backlash. That was one of the first episodes that really brought in a bunch of like Kole is a completely insufferable asshole who should probably end his existence. Yeah, that was a big backlash that we got.
Like Sugar Boom, Kole, you were before your time. The world was just not prepared.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you go back and listen to Sugar Bone, I was real drunk, but I was also voicing my truth about Think Geek, and people did not like that. Yeah. So
I remember that. I had forgotten the origin of Sugar. He's born from turmoil
and alcohol.
Yeah,
he really is the best blues artist, isn't he?
I was kind of sad that Revised Code 433 didn't rank a little bit higher than it did. That was number 27, so right below the fold.
What was that referencing? I'm forgetting.
Oh man, that was 433. That's a John Cage composition, which is just silence. It is 4 minutes and 33 seconds worth of silence on the piano. But
I didn't know what the revised code was, but for some reason I mixed it up in my brain as like the episode 3 reference to like execute order 433.
Yeah, no, revised code, like we were talking about like police codes, like, oh, it's a 187. You know, like, oh, here's a homicide, you know.
Can you have silence on an instrument? Like silence on a harp or silence on the trombone?
John Cage figured out a way.
Yeah, they have rest in music notation. And so there's 4 minutes and 33 seconds of that. And his composition.
Guys, I play a mean silence on the xylophone. I dare to say I'm better than anyone else in the world at it.
I have been playing at least 28 years worth of silence on the harpsichord.
I put in my 10,000 hours.
Fuck you, Malcolm McDowell. That's who that is, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Alex from Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that one placed down. That one was just below Critical Path Johnny, which is the one that I thought was going to be way higher than it was. So that one was 26.
Well, it's weird because there are certain ones that become parlance on the show.
Yeah, it's just kind of worked its way into the vernacular.
Yeah,
like putting them on Breeze.
Yep. And then Jala came up with Trivial Path Tommy or something like that. Yeah.
I got a good question. So there were, I thought this was a nice indication of the health of the title field this year. There were only 5 titles that received 0 votes at all. So 39 through 43. And I would be interested to hear, of those, what is your favorite?
Let's see here. I really like Walkin' the Space Donut.
Okay.
I forget what it referred to, but the fact that it has the apostrophe cutting off the G appeals
makes it so
to me.
much cooler.
Yeah.
I like Fracas as the Ceiling.
Yeah, that was mine. That's that one had a ring to it as well.
Can we make this? Can I put a link to the spreadsheet in the show notes so people know what the fuck we're talking about?
I don't see why not. I will send you a link to view, not to edit.
Okay.
And I will also make sure the whole like weird tab structure is cleaned up before we
cool. Yeah. No, we want to keep some of this data proprietary, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to see. It's fun to just mine around in it.
Include it later in the memoirs and then sell it for fat cash.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, no, we want to keep some of this. Yeah, definitely close to the chest. So does anybody have any kind of like final stuff? This is the most self-indulgent thing we do each year, I think. But I want to make sure we give enough time for it.
Props to chill shading. I really like that.
Yeah, that's good. Red Dead Businessman, I know representing David in his absence was David's favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, and Swoopcast Engage, I think that is that is another one of those that kind of squeaked into the vernacular, or at least is adjacent to it, because we sweep each other a lot.
I was about to say that, but you just totally swooped it.
Oh, so thank you so much, everybody, for responding. In space, no one can hear you jam was number 1. Sugarbone was number 2, and Malaysia was was number 3 coming in.
Malaysia.
Yes, with more votes than Sugarbone, but far fewer points.
So Cole, how does Sugarbone feel about that second place victory?
He'll use it it'll fuel him to write another song.
Drive him to the bottle.
I think 2016 is going to be a big year for Sugarbone. Cool. So thank you everybody for responding to that. That's on social media and everything. And boy, oh boy, we have more fans than ever now. That is not a self-important thing. Obviously, you all outnumber us by a great deal. But this is a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah,
you would win in a fight against us.
Yes, you would. Well, okay. If you all decided to show up at the same place at the same time, we would be done for. So
I feel like we need to explore that theory a little bit more, but it's for another time.
I can show you the numbers, man. We're good.
Okay.
No, we're not good. We are doomed. We are just absolutely doomed.
The grind.
Now it is time for the grind, where we talk about the things we've been playing over the past 2 weeks or so, because we were off for Christmas. Who wants to go first, or do we just want to, kind of bullshit for a minute?
We'll collectively like shrug and turn out our pockets.
Yeah.
I actually have stuff to talk about, so I think I might want to go last, maybe, or first. I don't know.
No, go for it. Go for it. Let's peter out. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's let it be a letdown of a show at the. No, I don't know. No, so I beat Fallout 4 a couple weeks ago. I think I kind of referenced this earlier. Like the previous games, it's kind of disappointing at the end, in my opinion. Basically, without getting into particulars, my frustration was being limited in choice. Even more so the fact that they give this appearance that you have a lot of choice of what you can do at the ending, of how you can kind of influence different people.
They give you like 4 different factions you can choose from, right? Around the central conflict, the androids and shit.
I don't need to talk details, but
I forgot who I was talking to. I'm sorry.
They make it seem as if you have multiple choices with how you can kind of shape the world, and you're kind of put in a position of power into doing this. But then, like, the choice I wanted to make, for instance, I said, hey, I want to do this. And then the character I was talking to is like, let's be realistic. And then, like, I have to choose something else, Like, so not only can I not do what I want in the game, but they act like you can, but then take that choice away from you.
Oh, man.
So super frustrating. And so you kind of get pigeonholed into doing certain actions, and it was somewhat of an unfulfilling end for me.
And this is right at the end of the game?
Yeah, it's like, the last maybe 5th or 10th of the main storyline.
And they didn't funnel you down at all between the Institute and the Railroad and shit, right?
What do you mean?
I just gave you some names that I know from the main story of the game. They didn't like funnel you down into like, okay, like we've made this feel organic, right?
I guess I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Basically, you know, like you have a very limited choice, even though the dialogue that you have make it seem like you might have more choices or more power. So I don't know. I was pretty disappointed with it because they have a really interesting like first 2/3 of the game. You know what I mean? Like there's. But I would say like I think a few weeks ago I mentioned that I was right before like a somewhat big decision.
Yeah.
Like everything when it got to that point, it started to kind of deflate for me at least. Yeah, I don't know.
So they were like, okay, enough joking around. We got to actually get this show on the road and start shepherding you.
Yeah, I guess the motivations of some of the characters they have in the later half don't exactly make sense, and like people seem kind of like needlessly evil or like needlessly like aggressive for some reason.
Yeah, like just okay. Are you going to associate yourself with a bunch of dicks?
Yeah, and so it's kind of disappointing. Is all I can say.
Yeah. Huh.
So it's kind of a bummer because I mean the world's pretty cool. Kind of looking back on it, I started a second game, and I think I mentioned this on the last episode.
You did, like the low intelligence run?
Yeah, and it was more just building focused than like just kind of playing around with the world, kind of treating it like Minecraft, and that was fun, you know. But yeah, it's just kind of a bummer because I think all three storylines have kind of fell apart in the last third of the games, respectively. Yeah.
Like, so, do you get the sense that they're like trying to protect the canon of Fallout? Like, are they kind of pushing you into stuff that is more kind of canonically neutral? Like what's the deal there?
I'm not exactly sure because I believe that this one takes place like after all the other Fallouts by like a decent margin.
I think so.
So there's like nothing that they need to. It's not like a prequel situation where they need to shoehorn you into a certain decision to make sure that it doesn't conflict with any later games or anything like that.
Yeah. But I mean,
it might just be, maybe it's just we don't understand what we're asking for. That at some point a story has to be pursuing a singular vision, and if we truly got one that diverged as wildly as we think we want it to, it would just be an incomprehensible mess.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, like, the only other thing I could be thinking of is maybe there's some sort of like symbolism or some sort of symbolic narrative that they were trying to accomplish with the choices or like narrowing the choices like that. But I could not come up with anything. So,
but the main conflict in 4 seems to be between like what is the definition of humanity, right?
Well, okay, yeah. So that's the interesting part of the story, right? That by far is the most interesting question that's being posed. Is like, when does it stop being a robot and when does it start being a human? So hopefully this will not give too much away. But it's kind of like a not Battlestar Galactica, but kind of a Blade Runner situation where you have replicants around. You know, so you don't know 100% if the person you're talking to is a human or if they're a robot. You know, I mean, like if you did like this is alluded to in like Fallout 3 with the replicated man quest, right?
All the people who made Detroit are going, well, shit.
Who made what? I'm sorry.
Detroit, the upcoming sequel or spiritual successor.
Yeah, the Quantic Dream shit. Yeah.
I
mean, like any narrative about humanity and technology, like, oh shit, they're just going for the most obvious story is what Quantic Dream's doing.
It's beginning to feel like the new Zombie almost, though. I feel like I've heard so many stories around.
I'm so fucking tired about like AI shit. Like don't do it. Oh my god.
You
didn't like Ex Machina?
I never watched Ex Machina. That seems pretty cool, but mostly visually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never watched her either, and that seems kind of cool. But
that movie's great. Yeah.
I know, right? Like they both seem really good, but like that's the reason I say, you know what? Just don't do that because I'm super tired of AI stories.
Because I'm tired of not watching these things.
Yeah. No, it's. I know by the time I'm caught up, I will be tired. So.
Maybe, but like those both seem to be really like just fixated on the idea of love and what does it mean to, you know, put your whole being into another thing that you don't know what it is. Like,
Look, if it ain't human, I'm not putting my whole being into it.
Maybe, but
Mom always said, watch where you put your whole being.
I don't want, just you don't want to be the new bigot. Yeah.
But it's played out.
Yeah,
going back to Fallout 4, though, I mean that was like the one interesting theme that they had, but I feel like they totally abandoned it in the third act, and
that sucks.
I don't think the game focuses on that or does anything to reinforce that concept or that question. So, yep. Anyway,
does the play stay fun? I mean, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's consistent, right? It's the VAT system, so I mean that stays pretty consistent throughout. But that kind of goes into another thing where it's like one of the things I was disappointed by this game is like, so Fallout 3 was great because, as we said, that was the first Fallout game we played, but like it introduced so many interesting like mechanics and interesting systems that were like pretty revolutionary for the time. Like the VAT system was really cool. The skill system they had was pretty solid. Of course, I always like Nice Soldier Poke a little bit better, but it's still really a really good secondary one.
Was Fallout 3 the first Bethesda game you played?
I don't think so. I think I had played Morrowind very, very briefly before I played that, but it was probably the first one that I went deep into, I guess. But
Dennis, how about you? Did you play Oblivion?
It definitely was. No, cool. That was my first experience with it in any form.
Okay, cool. Go ahead, Pat.
But it seems like Fallout 4, the only innovations they have is they have like the base mechanics where you're like building things and kind of making it nice for the people there. But yeah, other than that, it feels like it's not too much innovation, and so in that sense, it's kind of disappointing as well. Or it seems kind of like diminishing return on games that they're making.
Do you think that there's a possibility for a for lack of a better word, a New Vegas equivalent to 4, like where they take the mechanical basis that they've laid in 4 to like go and tell some interesting short stories?
Perhaps, but yeah, I mean it's very dependent upon who's writing the story. You know what I mean? If they,
for sure. I mean, they have model. they had Obsidian doing that, right?
Yeah. So if they pass it off to Obsidian, then perhaps there could be some cooler things in it. But even Fallout New Vegas was not. Yeah, I know. Even Fallout New Vegas though wasn't perfect. Like it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
this is maybe just kind of underlining the fact that this new generation was not as big a jump as the last new generation. That whatever.
You mean going from 2 to 3 versus 3 to 4?
Yeah. Like I think part of this could just be that we're seeing that. I think the artist's ability to express what was in their head, or their ability to bring their ideas to life, was definitely kind of capped on a PS2. And they kind of got so much more freedom with the PS3 that we're almost getting to the point where the cap is not the technology anymore. It's the ability to be creative. So you don't see, I guess where I'm going with this is you don't see sequels or new iterations by default being so much cooler, more expansive, or having these great new things in them, just because it's much more dependent on actually having an amazing new idea versus just being able to work with more powerful technology and bring your existing idea to life better.
I mean, so what you're setting up is a zero-sum game between imagination and fidelity.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly the case, because so if that is the case, then it's only the case towards the extremes, because like imagination really ruled supreme. Like if we're talking about the series between Fallout 1 and 2, where it was just text and the most rudimentary of small sprites that kind of look 3D but really weren't because they were in isometric. Now they're like the majority of the budget is towards is put towards, can we make this look 3D and make this look high def and et cetera, and how much can imagination compromise toward this? And like maybe we're reaching towards where imagination can kind of match what the technology can reach towards. But I don't know.
I would say it the other way. Is I think we're getting to the point where people can match what they're imagining. So it's like, hey, I now have the tools at my disposal to make exactly the idea that I had in my head.
Yeah.
And make it look as good as I want or as good as I imagined, and have all the mechanics perform exactly as good as I imagined. Mm-hmm. And so now the improvements can't be that you're making it better because it's already as good as you imagined. And so now what makes it better is the kind of core of your idea has to actually be better, which is way harder than just putting a nicer coat of paint or a lot more processing power behind a good idea that you couldn't execute fully on the last generation.
Yeah. And like that kind of sucks because like it really is that tug of war between technology and pure ideas. I don't know. I just know more about it. Like ideas have to be compromised at the very planning stage before you even introduce technology into the idea of it. Into the equation is like that stuff has to be cut down at the knees. Because what you can actually output based on the PS4, the 3 or the Xbox One.
So that's probably why VR is as sticky or is has as much traction as it does. Is that's kind of the new step change that unlocks a lot of new stuff. Yeah. And it's not a step change that everyone is interested in, but I think we're to the point where the mainstream kind of has the powerful console that can do, most of what people want. And the real cool innovation stuff is going to maybe start relying a little bit more on the niche hardware.
Yeah, it just sucks because like everything, there's always the regression to the mean. In a lot of these cases, it's the regression towards the engine, which is, okay, the regression toward the engine is how much story can we tell by having people look directly at the camera in a center composed shot of a ghoul looking at the camera, explaining the 3 possible ways things could shake out, right?
Yeah.
And Ben, you're the only person who's played Fallout 4 to know like what the nominal next gen approach to this could be. Like, is that the way stuff shakes out? The center composed ghoul talking about the 3 possible options, to get out of this.
I mean, more or less. But like the thing I'm specifically thinking of griping against is like the core mechanics are the exact same as in the previous Fallout games, where it's like you have computer hacking, you have lockpicking, and you have the special abilities.
Yeah.
And in this case, one could say it's actually, I don't know. It's hard to say if there's more skill abilities or less skill abilities in this one because they're kind of rearranged in the leveling up system. So I mean, it's a slightly interesting choice the way they changed the level up system, but like none of the like puzzles or the side games have changed at all.
Right.
It's the exact same experience, that's kind of a bummer, right? There's, it's because if I wanted to see that experience, I would go play the previous game. It's like there's no, innovation to it. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of have a bitter taste in my mouth with this game because I was expecting maybe a little bit more towards the ending, and I was a little bit disappointed. And then it's like there's so many hours invested in the game that it kind of feels like a waste. So
I mean, is it a bitter taste because you expected it to widen at the end versus narrow?
In part it's because I liked like the intrigue and the writing of the first half or first 2/3 of the game. I expected that to be that hold up throughout the game, and it kind of dropped off.
It's like this weird little like bulb shape.
Yeah.
So. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Like, have you been paying attention? Like, I have not, but like, is there DLC that in a Fallout 3 Broken Steel-esque kind of way is going to widen it?
I haven't been paying attention to it, but that probably won't interest me as much, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Didn't they initially patch the ending of Fallout 3 after it came out because of the backlash?
No. With Broken Steel, that was the third DLC after Anchorage and the Pit that they put out, a DLC that lets you live beyond the canonical ending of the main game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I think I'm more or less done with that, and so I might be moving on to other games.
What's your next? Just Cause 3?
Perhaps. But there's been another game that I've been playing, so I want to talk about that.
Go for it, man. Go.
So the other game that I've been playing is Life is Strange.
Oh shit! Yeah, you talked about this the other day.
Yeah, I picked up the first episode of it. I was sick a week ago at work, but I was well enough to sit in my bed and play a video game. So take that for what you will.
It's hard to not be well enough for that, but go ahead.
Yeah. So it takes place in a high school setting. It's very similar to Heavy Rain in the style of the game, where it's you play a character, you're walking around, you're kind of having conversations, you kind of interact in the world with cutscenes.
It is a high school setting in the early 2010s that is written like it is a high school setting in the early 20s.
Why do you say that?
Oh no, because they're like talking about like what is it, like Bub Harthing and stuff like that. Like it's very much like, oh, the people who wrote this were that like they kind of reached maturity in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely try and capture like the vocabulary of teenagers. I don't know how accurate it is because I don't know any teenagers. But I mean they'll drop things in like awesome sauce or like I don't know. They haven't used Kole yet, but I feel it coming.
Give it like 2-3 more years, like in Life is Strange 2. Life is Stranger.
Yeah. But it's pretty interesting though because it does feel like a pretty unique environment. You know, like I can't remember another game that I've played where you're in high school besides Bully maybe, but I never played that game.
Yeah.
So the environment definitely feels fresh. But the style of it is kind of like a cross between Heavy Rain and The Walking Dead, the Telltale series. Because one of the things they do heavily is track your choices and track like what you look at and what you decide to do in certain situations. And then at the end of the chapter, they'll tell you like, hey, this many people chose this many people did this. Like, here's things that you might have missed, you know? So that's kind of interesting. But a lot of it is, it's very choice-based game. So it feels like you're like playing a choose your own adventure type thing. The one interesting mechanic that they've added to this that other games don't have is they give you the ability to rewind time. And this is basically taking the place of save scumming or starting over.
This is your main character's superpower, right? Like she is using this to try and nominally improve the lives of people around her.
Yes. So they don't fully explain like how this happens or why it happens. But yeah, your main character figures out that she can rewind time, but only to a certain point in time to suit the gameplay structure.
Yeah. And to maximize the tragedy of people in her life.
Yeah. So some of the characters are a little bit over the top in the story. So it's not, you know, it's not exactly like P.T. Anderson character writing, but it's still enjoyable in the fact that they are giving you kind of authority over the choices you make. So the things that you do choose do have some sort of impact on the story, or at least it feels like they will if the impact hasn't been paid off yet. So so I've only played the first chapter of it of 5, but I enjoyed that enough to get the chapters 2 through 5. So that is queued up and ready to go for me to play. So.
Yeah. So this is just really you're in it for the long haul.
I mean, the first chapter is only like an hour or two to play, so it'll be. Yeah. I think it'll be a short to medium range haul. But yeah,
for the quote unquote long unquote haul. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll play it out. So,
but I mean, it's kind of in the like the modern style of a storytelling game.
Yeah.
For like a, you know, just kind of like a modern set of characters in a supernatural kind of structure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's again, the writing isn't like 100% perfect, but it is definitely interesting, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
Any questions about that?
No. I wish I would have played more of it, but I've got all of it, and I was waiting for all of the series, or at least the first season to come out. But it's here, and I'm able to play it. So I'd like to be able to talk more about it soon.
Also, as a tip to the listeners, it's on Humble Bundle right now, so you can get it for super cheap.
True, that's like the Square Enix thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, so the only games that I've played are communal games. So when everyone was over from the Duckfeed crew, we played New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Just for kicks, and mostly we did the like challenge levels, the coin battle levels, versus playing the actual game. So that was a lot of fun, and it's that almost allows me to embrace the craziness and inscrutability of having so many people on the screen at once. So it was fun.
There was not enough betrayal in the game.
No. It was funny hearing. So Jen was upstairs, taking care of your very, very young son, and she heard the noise of the Wii and New Super Mario Brothers Wii. She was like, "Wait a minute, they got you guys to play." What?
You guys got me to play.
Yeah, yeah.
I am on the record as very much having negative opinions of that game. We're just not being able to play it too long without having a complete rage out. So,
right. She was like, "Wait a minute, how'd you guys get to?" Yeah, I don't know how you play that game with your TV, dog.
Yeah, there's like a delay.
There really is. Like there was like a half-second delay.
But you guys saw it. I'm not crazy. When someone else like grabs a pickup or gets knocked down a peg, everything on the screen freezes.
It is, yeah. So whenever somebody powers up or powers down, there is like a bloop, 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 or a bloop, bloop, bloop. And everything freezes. And
if you're trying to time a jump.
Really breaks up the motion of the game. Yeah,
it does. And that can just deposit you into the middle of a pit to die immediately.
So that like I said, I can embrace if it's just like crazy running around and having fun on coin battle. But if you're actually trying to accomplish something in the game, it's infuriating. So
which we were after the first couple rounds after the coin battle kind of stuff. And
did we actually finish World 1-1?
I have no idea, man.
I'm not sure we did. I don't think we did.
I had no idea. Honestly, your cat Sherlock was distracting me because it's like
it's a little attention, isn't he?
Yeah, like your cat wanted rubs, and I was going to give your cat rubs.
He's been very happy since. He's the one who is constantly assaulting me for attention while I podcast.
He's the one who jumps up at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can see it. Like I can see it. Like he was just like, "Oh yeah, there are my ears. Cool, go." Yeah. No.
I am the most important thing. You know it. I know it. It's just stop all pretense here.
Like I don't know, Dennis. Like I'm not heartless. I'm gonna pet a cat when he's there. So like, I wasn't really invested in us like getting past World 1-1.
Yeah.
I just wanted to help your cat. Like feel good.
That's the level of emotional engagement you need to have with the game to be able to play it.
Yeah.
So
to ignore a cat.
Yeah, to ignore a cat.
And I couldn't. Like that's my failure. Like we're fine. Like
yeah.
It
was good times. Then the other thing we had some friends over, and I finally now have 4 controllers for PlayStation 3. So the 4 of us played Ratchet and Clank All for One.
Oh yeah. That's the late PS3 co-op Ratchet and Clank, right?
Yeah, and it's got the kind of fixed camera so that all people are on the screen at once. It's really, really fun. Definitely crazy with so many characters on the screen, but I think that's just the price of having 4 people playing. But relative, especially in contrast to New Super Mario Bros. With 4 people, it's infinitely easier to follow. They made a very conscious choice that each character has a very different silhouette and even like size.
Like so they didn't make you play as two fucking toads?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That's exactly it. But yeah, so it just stood out as a much better multiplayer or 4-player couch co-op experience, I'll say.
And to be clear, we've made this point before, but they should have called it 4-play, correct?
They definitely should.
Oh,
yes.
God. Like, that is the... just following the previous schema of the series. Up your arsenal? What?
Yeah.
Quest for booty.
Yeah. Going commando, man. Those are just good old games.
It makes my head hurt, honestly. Like, I'm in your camp, Dennis, but, like, talk to your dogs, dog.
Yeah. The one interesting thing was, since Jen and I have made it further through that game as a duo than we had as a set of 4, the Quirk and one of the other characters is like super powered up. Mm-hmm. And it's weird that they didn't level that out. Like, so if you go back and start earlier levels as, you know, and you can only choose from those 4 characters, like you have to play as those 4.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any way apparent to level down your character so that everyone was at the same power level without like erasing your save file, which I wasn't going to do. So just like, you know, 2 of the characters had like all the weapons and were firing upgraded versions of the weapons. And then 2 of the characters were like, you know, truly new, just had their little pea shooter characters. So that was just an interesting choice that they made. I don't know why they didn't think about, hey, what if we want to go back and play with people who hadn't played before? But it really didn't get in the way of the fun.
No.
But that's what I've been playing.
Okay, well, I'm less impressed about the way they split it more than the way that I'm impressed that you convincing non-gamer people to play a Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah. Well, I will not categorize them as non-gamer people. Okay. Yeah, they've got some chops.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. Neat.
Any other party games?
No, that's about it.
No Jackbox?
No, we didn't get around to Jackbox.
Okay. Neat. I've got nothing, man. Like I've been playing Fallout 3 for Watching for Fireballs. And just reading. Like it's I feel bad about the way I've failed this show.
Don't worry about it. Can you back me up at least? Is Fallout 3, does it have a disappointing ending?
Oh, God, yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Good.
man, is it so bad? And you can listen to that episode, but yeah, like, I just want to, like, dip into Fallout 4. Like, it's a weird timing. Like, there are external factors about the way that we chose to do Fallout 4. Or, sorry, to do Fallout 3 when Fallout 4 came out. But yeah, like, I want to... yeah, it's just it's a complicated thing, but yeah, I've got nothing that I haven't talked about before. So,
I think that's an interesting. It says something about Fallout 3 that you finished it, and your reaction is, "Man, I want to play some Fallout 4." Like, that says something good about Fallout 3. I think.
I mean, it does, but like Fallout 3 is so one-sided that like I'm hoping that Fallout 4 is a little bit more varied, but Ben is not leaving me to believe that it's more varied than I think it should be. So, yeah.
I could be wrong. You should still check it out for yourself.
Oh no, there's no way that I'm not playing Fallout 4 because I'm invested in this series now. But, do you guys want to button it up?
Sure. Yeah, I think after 5 solid hours of podcasting, you've earned yourself a break, Kole.
I think that I have, yeah. Cool. So this episode is coming out if you are a Patreon backer right before the before the year ends, and if you're not a Patreon backer, right after the year ends. So I would just encourage you, if you're listening, just keep participating. We have the Facebook group that is facebook.com/The Level Podcast if you want to participate in the multiplayers, and most of the other stuff if you're not a part of the Facebook group. I'm just super grateful for everybody participating so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's everyone that I've met through the show is just an absolute, really cool, amazing person, and it's really fun doing the show and getting to hear the people who listen, or getting to meet the people who listen.
Yeah, no, and David hasn't been here for the past couple of weeks, but we're super grateful for his participation, and Jala, who has stepped up so much over the past year and more. We're super grateful for her participation.
Really holding the podcast together.
Definitely. And oh boy, just reaching out to the fans and everything. Like, I don't know if I can do anything more than she and they have already done. So yeah. Check out the Patreon, check out the Facebook, all of those kind of things. But until next time, I have been Kole Ross at Kole Ross on Twitter.
I've been Dennis Furia at DFuria on Twitter.
I've been Ben Merkel at Merkelizer on Twitter.
Yeah, and until next time, stick around for a title.
Yeah. What do we got this time?
Oh boy, I only have one.
Oh, easy decision.
Yeah. Did you not have any?
I had saving it for the memoir.
Saving it for the memoir. Okay, let me add that to the list. Okay, I have Dashed Against the Rocks.
Okay. I have two. I have Man vs. Squirrel, or Man v Squirrel, and I have This Is a Title.
I thought you were going to say I have Man v Squirrel and Man versus Squirrel.
So I am Dennis, how do you feel?
I'm going to vote for mine. I like mine of Save It for the Memoir.
Yeah, I like saving it for the memoir too.
I got no opinion.